Okay, so welcome to This Week in Birding and Nature Photography. My name is Stephen Ramsden, and I am the director of the Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project. Um, and our North American affiliate is Sunlit Earth. And Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project is named in memoriam to a fellow veteran and friend, Charlie Bates. And Sunlit Earth talks about sunlight and nature. And we do this show every week. We have a good time and we talk to different interesting personalities from all around the world and try to squeeze some knowledge out of them and learn a little bit from people in other parts of the world about how they love birding and what they love about it and how sunlight affects their lives. And we have a great show for you this week. A very cool guy now named Donny Screws down in Eastman, Georgia, is going to be our guest, along with his son Chris and possibly his son Taylor as well. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But for now, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on this week in birding. There's my wife. She's on for her first time. She's got a shaky camera. Okay. All right, everybody, hang on a minute. The big story this week in birding here in Georgia, and hey, Alexandra, and hey, Raphael. Alexandra's joining us from the UK. Raphael is down in the Dominican Republic, and we have all kind of interesting people on our show. There's two people in the waiting room right now, and I'm trying to view them. There's Karen. Somebody named Owner, who I'm not going to allow to join. Sometimes we get hackers. Let's see. I don't know who this Karen is either. Let's find out. Okay, I don't know who that is, so they're muted for now. Anyway, Bacon is here. Sorry, everybody. As you can see, I'm an IT genius, but we're trying to get everybody into the meeting that wants to be in. The big story this week here in Atlanta, at least, is this little fella that showed up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, right up the right up the way from us. This is a snowy owl. That's right, a snowy owl here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this guy was on a rooftop in a little neighborhood outside of Chattanooga for about a week. It's gone now. It hasn't been sighted in about 3 days. But boy, what a treat that was. I mean, what a beautiful bird. Those yellow eyes were just piercing, and it just looked like a big fluff ball. It was a little bit bigger than a barred owl. And I just wanted to go up and hug it and give it a big kiss because it was so fluffy and pretty. And then I read a little bit about them and found out what type of vicious predators they are and decided I wasn't going to go up and give it a big fluff. But this bird gave everybody quite a fun time taking photographs. When I got there was probably 25 people standing in this little neighborhood with their lenses aimed at the top of a house, and the bird just ate it up. He gave us all kind of poses and hung around the whole day, and it was just a beautiful sight to see. We still have the evening grosbeaks up in North Georgia and in the Cohutta Wilderness on the Iron Mountain Trail. And this is a photo from my friend Raman Dawson, who runs the Georgia Wildlife page. And this is a evening grosbeak with some sort of an acorn or something in its mouth. Beautiful bird. Buddy Harrell took this photograph of a great blue heron with a hairstyle just like mine. If anybody can see, I've got some stripes on my head too that are standing up. I'm trying to grow my hair out. And this great blue heron was just a lovely shot from our good friend Buddy, who's been a guest on our show before. The red crossbills are still flying around up in the Cohutta Wilderness in the same spot as the evening grosbeaks. And you can find all this location information right on eBird if you look around. But this is a red crossbill male. And you can see the bills are crossed, and they're shaped that way specifically to eat a certain type of seed. So this little bird is aptly named the red crossbill. We still got tens of thousands of these beautiful sandhill cranes flying overhead. I'm sure the Screws family has probably seen them. We are very fortunate in that we're on a migratory path for these critters. and we get to see them flying by all the time. And they make this weird sound when they go by. Sounds kind of like a drunk turkey. And that's the sound of the sandhill crane. So I know it sounded just like one. Y'all probably looked up in the sky when I did that. But they're flying all over the place right now. Raphael sent us this awesome photo of a pelican.
That's a great shot.
At first, I thought it was a great blue heron, but it turns out this is a pelican. And Raphael and his friends down in the Dominican Republic, who I visited twice, they have these crazy birds flying all over the place, man. They see frigate birds. They see all sorts of cuckoos. It's just a birder's paradise. And I can't wait to get vaccinated so I can fly down to Santo Domingo and go birding with my great friend Raphael. Check this out, a feral pig. Betsy Arrington saw this animal down in Savannah where she lives, and she's a sponsored Sunlit Earth photographer as well. This little piggy was just walking across the street and gave her a look-see, and she got a good photo of it. But boy, he's got some scruffy hair, doesn't he? Only a face only a mother could love. This is a Northern Harrier sent in by our friend Tony Tyapin. And I haven't met Tony before. He's on our Sunlit Earth page, but boy, what a great photo. And some of these males turn grayish color, and they call them the gray ghost. But this is a Northern Harrier flying around. They like to fly low over grassy fields, and they'll grab little small birds or moles or rats or whatever they can find. And it's really a fascinating bird to watch. They've got some really strange habits, and I've never seen one perched on anything. I've only seen them flying. So hopefully we'll see some more of those here also. And that's what's been going on here locally with our birds. Hey, Bonnie Dotson, and she's on. She's our another Sunlit Earth sponsor. I think, wait a minute, there's a Bacon and a Bonnie. Okay. Well, Bacon is Bonnie's nickname. So I don't know if it's two different Bonnies or the same Bonnie, but I guess we'll find out. And I will warn you that sometimes we get unsavory individuals signing into our meetings and doing things that are stupid. And if we do, we're going to all ridicule them together and then delete them from the internet. And then that'll be that. So I apologize in advance if any of that happens. The more popular the show gets, the more wackos try to log in. And remember, this show is brought to you to encourage more science and nature. And Natalie says hi to everyone. By the way, Natalie is Mrs. Sunlit Earth. She's the first lady of Sunlit Earth. And she is seldom on the show, but I'm glad that she joined us now. She is a native Georgian as well, and she can't wait to hear from the Scrooge family down in Eastman, Georgia. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah, Donny and Chris, Eastman, Georgia. No one's ever heard of Eastman, Georgia. I have. It's in Dodge County. Eastman, Georgia is not off an interstate exit. Alexandria here in the United States, we call our major highways interstates. So it's I-75, where you would call it the M5 or the M1. We call it the I-75. Just as crowded, just as unpleasant to drive on. But Donnie and his family live just south of Macon, which is in the southern Georgia, I guess you'd call it, maybe central Georgia. And Donnie, I can't hear you, by the way. And oh, there you go.
There he is, yeah.
And they have lived there for generations, I'm guessing. I met Donnie several years ago, and I'll let you get in here and start talking in a minute. But Donnie and I met because Donnie was kind enough to post a photo that his son Chris had taken of a broad-billed hummingbird, which was a very rare, or is a very rare hummingbird for Georgia. And they posted it and invited anybody who wanted to come look at it to come look at it. And I don't know if they knew what to expect when that happened, because they had a yard full of birders for a good couple of weeks after that. And when I drove down there to look at it, I was just very touched and impressed with the hospitality they offered. They were so friendly. They weren't even home when I was there at first. And then I think I went there 2 or 3 times, but they had set out cold drinks for everybody. And, it's just come on down and hang around on our porch with us. And it was just good old Southern hospitality. And I was really, really grateful for that. And I got a great picture of the bird, and I got to meet Donnie and his sons and his wife, and they're just good people. So I thought it'd be interesting to have them on the show. Donnie is a college educated retired science teacher. He just retired here recently, and he's taught at various levels in the educational system. And he is a brainiac as well as a drummer and plays in a regional band that tours all the time. And he's just a kick-ass guy to know. His son, Chris, is a police officer. We're very proud of him in Eastman, Georgia. And Chris is also about 6'5", maybe, and 6'7". And believe me, Chris makes me look like a midget. He's a big cuddly bear, and believe me, you don't want to cross him in a police incident, but he's as friendly as he can be. And their son, Taylor, is a middle school teacher in Dodge County and is taken after his dad's job. There's Taylor. And Donnie's wife, who runs the show, Cindy, is a principal at, I believe, an elementary school in Dodge County. But they are just quite a family. And how are y'all doing down there, Donnie? What's going on in Eastman, Georgia today?
Not much. We're quarantining. Everything's going great. Enjoying it and enjoying the winter birds right now, coming in.
Absolutely.
We're just a small town family, just, feeding birds in the yard. We're not like y'all. You guys are the big leagues to us. We look up every week and every day. We say, oh my God, look at what they saw, a snowy owl and all that. So,
it's funny you say that.
We're just all town family down here enjoying it.
It's funny you say that because every time I see something come down from Eastman, Georgia, I go, man, look at that. That's where I want to be. Because, I'm sick of dealing with bars in my backyard, alleyways full of vagrants and crime and cars getting broke into. I yearn for Eastman, Georgia more than you know. And
your backyard is pretty entertaining. You even got possums scaling the fence and all that.
Well, y'all have a pretty big spread down there. You got a pool in the backyard. You got about 20 feeders in the front yard, and you got a bit of a pasture behind you. How big is your property down there?
30 something, 40 something acres, something like that.
Right. So that in Atlanta, I live on 1/8 of an acre. That's 1/8. And the land up here is about $3 million an acre now. And wow. You've got 30 acres. That works out to, I don't know, Taylor, you're a math whiz. It works out to a whole ton of money, about $500 million worth of land, if you ask me. What made you decide to make your entire front yard into a bird sanctuary?
Well, I've always been into birds since I was a little bitty kid. When I was a kid, I thought I was the only person in Georgia that was into birds. We didn't have the internet back then. No internet, no way to contact anybody. And I was into birds, man. I was a bird freak. And, the only bird book I could find was the Golden Guide, that little bitty Golden Guide. We'd have to go all the way to Florida just to find Peterson's Guide to Birds,
Wow.
And always been into birds. And then growing up, the internet came along and I contacted other people, found out there's a world of birders out there. There's other people like me, that like birds too. And I'm just overjoyed with this. And, being into birds, you put up a feeder or two and you think, well, if I got one feeder and you got a few birds, well, let's put up another one, then put up another one. We got about 30 something feeders. We've done it, but it's just fun.
Well, Donnie, you're
bird because of a neck injury. So I bring them, instead of me going out to them, I bring them into me,
I got you. Chris is out in the front yard right now with the iPhone showing us some of the feeder layout there. And I see what looks to be tons of mealworms and seed and a bunch of bird boxes that look like maybe you might have had a hand in making those.
Yeah, me and local people too. And Taylor makes them too, so we just pick them up anywhere we can and put them up all over the property,
Man, that is something special right there. I love that front yard, and that hummingbird feeder. When I first came down there, there it is right there, where the broadbilled was. One of the feeders. He was all over the feeders, but y'all had a heater on it and a light bulb to keep the nectar warm.
It was pretty cold. My wife was in the hospital at the time. That's why we weren't home. My wife was in the hospital.
I remember.
And we were staying and making a good bit. And then that happened. We saw the broadbill and photographed it. And then the people started coming in. I look out the window every morning. It was like the paparazzi out there.
Yeah. When I showed up, there was 5 people standing in your driveway, freezing because it was the middle of winter. and they were all staring at this bird feeder on your front porch. And it was pretty cool, man. I also remember when I did meet you, and you walked me around a little bit, and you probably don't remember, but we saw a little pile of feathers on the ground to the side of your house where some sort of hawk had just eaten a northern flicker. And I was kind of new to seeing those kind of things. I hadn't been birding that long. I was still doing mostly astronomy, but I was a little bit shaken. There was a big pile of feathers on the ground. And
why couldn't you get a dove or something?
Exactly. Boy, look at that one. Now, do you have a lot of mealworms out there right now preparing for spring?
Yeah, we just, you put out what you can and hope for the best, and I get live mealworms when I can and get freeze dried. They like the live ones a lot better, of course,
Right. Now, this is about the time when all the bluebirds start coming in and eating the mealworms mainly.
Yeah. The bluebirds are slow to discover us sometimes. We don't have a lot of bluebirds right now. Right now, it's all the usual suspects,
Well, what are those usual suspects for our international viewers?
Well, we're real happy to have an eruption of purple finches right now. And, earlier we had some rose-breasted grosbeaks, which was a real thrill. But usually, I think probably 90% of the seed we put out, it goes down the throats of chipping sparrows. I'm sorry?
Oh, I think that was somebody's background.
Okay. Yeah, we're keeping the chipping sparrow population viable.
Now, how about squirrels?
Oh yeah, squirrel. We had a squirrel that got so fat he couldn't even walk away. I mean, he keeps dragging it. The goldfinches, the house finches, and the woodpeckers, red bellies, and downies, and all the blue jays and all that. All the usual. They love the peanuts.
Now, Donnie, you taught science in, I guess, mostly middle school. Didn't you also teach on a college level at one time?
For about 20 years, yeah.
Oh, really? Is that all? Did you bring your students out to the house at any time, or what kind of things did you do? Because you seem like a hand-on nature's guy to me, man.
We did. When I taught astronomy, we went out and, got the scopes out. Mercer had a real nice, at the time it was a C8, it was real nice, and we did that. When I taught environmental sciences and that kind of thing, we went out to the swamps. We did water testing and, water quality and all that. Yeah, we did a lot of hands-on things,
Now, you finished your career at Dodge County Middle School, is that right?
Right, yeah, 40 years. Yeah.
And you were teaching what were you teaching there mostly?
Earth science, pretty much geology.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing you made it real fun.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun. The kids always said, "Mr. Cruz blows stuff up." Well, we did more than that. There was a lot of learning going on, but yeah.
Right. Now we kind of coordinated on the solar eclipse that happened here back in 2017, and sent you down a telescope and some sunglasses and all that. And did y'all enjoy that from the school property, or did you do that from your house, or what did you end up doing there?
We did it on school property, and then, but you know what happened? The schools got scared of possible liability with people staring at the sun, and they ended up changing everything. They kept the kids inside. Well, what happened is most of the kids checked out of school and went out with their parents to see it. And we were able to distribute the solar sunglasses, which were wonderful. That was so great, and we appreciated it. And the solar scope, I set it up on school property, and those that could came and checked out the eclipse. It was awesome.
Well, man, we are tickled pink when we can find somebody who's actually going to use the equipment and let some kids have some goodies and get them involved in science. Because, we get a lot of people that's, oh yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that, and they never do anything. But you really have put it all to good use. And I just want to tell you, all these people that are on our program either run our affiliates in their country, or they are donors to Sunlit Earth. And I just want to tell you how much we appreciate what you've done and how many lives you've shaped with that 40 plus years of teaching. I'm hoping it has a big effect, and I'm hoping that you and I can both see people on Mars before we go up to our reward.
I hope you know how much we appreciate you and Sunlit Earth and Charlie Bates.
Right back at you, man. Now your boy Taylor's behind you, and he's teaching also in the same school now. Is that right?
Right. He's in my old classroom, as a matter of fact.
So you didn't even have to clean out the classroom, did you?
I still have a lot of the specimens that he has, and I'm actually teaching life science. So he taught earth science. I'm teaching life science at the middle school.
That's awesome, Taylor. I'm real proud of you, man. And how old are you now?
28 right now.
28. And you recently got married, so you know who the boss is now too. And Donny, I'll just mention, you know, I love your music too. And you were in a regional band called the Midlife Chryslers, and y'all play all around Georgia. So that's why I don't let anybody in that I don't know. So anyway, we were talking about Taylor and his teaching at the school and how proud we were of you. Chris, I know that you're still sitting outside with your iPhone. Can you give us an idea of what sort of birds you have going on in there right now?
Yeah, we got a bunch of chipping sparrows. I've seen a couple goldfinches, woodpeckers, one mockingbird that keeps chasing birds away, blue jays, just your average species. I think we got a pine warbler on one over there. Just your average winter population down here.
Now, how many pine siskins you think you got down there?
I have seen one since I've been sitting out here.
Okay, because we have at least 500 of them at the nature preserve every day, and they are eating me out of house and home. I noticed that you had several large garbage cans on your patio, and I'm assuming those are all full of bird food.
They are.
And
Yes.
How do you go about replenishing that hundreds of pounds of bird seed, Donny?
We make regular trips to Tractor Supply and Walmart and wherever. And yeah, there you go. And the squirrels still manage to get into those cans. They'll push the lid off and climb in, you know.
Goodness.
But yeah, we make regular hour to fill the heaters, you know.
Now, do you get raccoons in there too, or is it mostly just squirrels?
No, not many raccoons. A few possums in the yard, but I hadn't seen any raccoons.
How do your neighbors feel about what's going on over there with the birds? I'm sure they're used to it now, but did you have any trouble at first?
No, I'm not in trouble. They just said it looked like an airport over here. You know?
So many birds flying in and out.
Yeah, they kind of see it all with humor. You know how people are.
Yeah. So what's on the horizon for Donny Screws now that you're fully retired from teaching? Now that you've been out for less than a year now, how are you going to change the world for the next few years, Donny?
Well, we're doing it online now, pretty much, since I'm not teaching anymore, and I want to do more, teaching and articles online. Since we taught for so many years, I want to start traveling as soon as the pandemic is over. As soon as it's safe. We got some trips planned. We want to do that. We want to go up to Canada. We want to go out west and take the family with us, that kind of thing,
Awesome. Now, do you have a little RV, or are you going to be, do you have anything?
No, we'll probably rent something. RVs are great, but Cindy says we like hotel life, motel
Me
life.
too, man. We are what you call glampers. We're not campers. We have to have some glamour in our camping, so we're glamping.
And rough it all day long, get as nasty, get into swamps,
right.
And then go nice, cool, clean bed at night.
Right. Natalie, my wife, and I routinely go out and do exactly that. And we like to have, just someplace we can go and not have to worry about cleaning it up. And they say the best 2 days of owning an RV are the day you buy it and the day you sell it. So kind of like a bass boat.
Yeah, I've had several of those too.
Awesome. So do Raphael or Alexandra or Bonnie, do y'all have anything you'd like to talk to? This is a real authentic Georgia native right here. I know I'm from Georgia, but I got a little bit too much Yankee in me because I'm the only one in my family that was born here. This is the best we got to offer you right here in the state of Georgia. So Alexandra, would you like to converse back and forth with your English accent for a little while? I think that might be good.
Hello, nice to see you. I just interested about the hummingbirds, because obviously we don't have hummingbirds here. So do you have them in the winter? Because I've noticed that you've got your feeders full of sugar at the moment, or do they all disappear down south?
Well, the ruby throats disappear, around November, and we have occasional winter hummingbirds. We had a calliope here a while back, and it brought in a lot of birders, and bander came. I think Terry Johnson from the DNR came in and banded it. It was a calliope. And then we had our broadbill, and others around the area have regular winter hummingbirds. We hadn't had one here this winter, but people around town and around the area do have winter hummingbirds from out west, of course, you know.
I just imagine that they would all go south for the winter, because how many flowers do you have out at this time? Or are they only staying because people feed them artificially?
You know, Stephen can probably answer that better than me. I've always wondered, how do they survive in the winter without flowers? And people do put out feeders and keep them heated and all that kind of thing. When the broadbill was here, I was wondering, you know, he was getting nectar from us, but I was like, where does he get his protein? And then some of the birders said, we got a horse next door, a horse right next to me. And they said the hummingbird was going over there and picking bugs off the horse. That never occurred to me. You know, he's getting bugs from that horse over there, and plus, you know, piles of manure. Other than that, I don't know how they survive down here in the winter, because sometimes the winters get pretty rough, even in South Georgia. So it's a mystery to me too. Stephen can probably tell us a lot more about that.
Well, I was going to mention, Alexander and I had a big trip planned for Merritt Island right before the pandemic set in. We had to cancel it, unfortunately. But Alexander, Donnie and his family live a lot closer to Florida than I do. So when you say they go south for the winter, that's Donnie's house. So they're going to his place for the winter. So it's not uncommon for them to have hummingbirds throughout the year. And he's kind enough to the animals to keep the feeders full all year. Now up here, we lose them in September, and then we don't get them back again until late April. But he's probably got them almost every month of the year. So he is pretty far south. In fact, he's not freezing right now. You can notice they're wearing short sleeves.
Yeah, we're pretty far south. We're in a weird place, you know, because I'm jealous of y'all, because y'all are a little bit north of us over the fall line, and y'all have all these wild birds, you know, and I feel like we don't get all the good stuff down here.
Well, I feel the same way about your place.
Greenery, yes.
Do y'all get any kind of black bear activity down there?
Black bear, yes. On the road, I've stopped several times and taken pictures of bears that people hit on the highway, you know, between here and Macon. Going to Macon, they hit them all the time.
And
there's a graphic somewhere of black bear incidents where they've been hit on the road, and there's a lot more than you would think, you know.
And you get bobcats probably too, don't you?
Oh yeah. I just saw a bobcat recently, you know. 2 of them, as a matter of fact.
Alexander, how many black bears do you get going through your yard in Great Britain?
Absolutely none. In the UK, we have virtually hardly any animals at all there are none actually that would kill you. So no insects that would kill you, no snakes,
just the people,
or anything. So we live in a very, very safe environment.
That's good. Raphael, I'm sorry.
Hi.
Well, how many black bears do you get, Raphael?
No. I don't think. I never see the zoo only.
Donnie, Raphael lives in a place where they get magnificent frigate birds flying overhead a couple times a day. Have you been down to the islands and done any birding or anything, Donnie?
No, on cruises, yeah, and I birded what I could down there and saw some pretty good stuff. We were on a cruise and got caught in the middle of Tropical Storm Arthur down in Cozumel, the first Arthur, not the second Arthur, and it was really something. But you know, I did manage to see a frigate bird many years ago down in very, very South Florida. You know, consider myself lucky to see that.
Wow, that's awesome, man. I've never seen one except in Raphael's posts. Now it looks like Chris is somewhere else now. He's got a body of water down there. Is this your land,
Chris?
Yeah, this is our pond.
Oh,
I didn't even know you had a pond.
Beautiful.
Tell us a little bit about what you're looking at, Chris.
This is just I think it's about a half-acre pond. We try to keep it stocked with fish. You'll see great blue herons and stuff like that on the dam part over there. You'll see kingfishers. You may see in the summer, you'll see purple martins coming in, taking a drink. But I just figured I'd ride around on the golf cart and show a little bit more of the property. We got some field and then the wooded areas and then the pond. So
Is that one of your dogs over there on the dock?
yeah, it's one of the pack.
Well, you've been holding back on me with this whole pond thing. I didn't even know that existed. How far away from the house is that?
It's maybe 300 yards.
And is that your little golf cart for driving around the property?
Yeah, it's the little golf cart.
Man, y'all got it made. I'm kind of sorry I got my wife on here now because she's been looking for property down in the marsh, in the Georgia marshes, and this is going to seal the deal right here.
But just this is like our little area to take all the family and friends, anybody who likes fishing. We keep it stocked with hybrid brim, channel cats, bass, stuff like that.
Holy cow. When did do you remember your dad taking you out the first time on some kind of crazy nature hike?
Oh, maybe like 6 months old or a year. I was real young, going to the mountains, Cage Cove, Klingman's Dome, places like that.
So he put it in you early on then. You grew up out in the woods with your dad and your brother, I guess.
Oh yeah, I got pictures of me as a small child wading through the Gum Swamp Creek area we have around here, that all the watershed kind of flows into that area. And on this land, at least, you got Crooked Creek that runs through, and it all floods down into Gum Swamp, which is about maybe 2 miles away from here.
Now, Chris, tell us about your mom. I know her name is Cindy Screws, and does she also like to go out with y'all, or is she into something else, or does she just tolerate you, or what is it?
She rides with us. She won't actually get out and jump in the mud like we will, but she'll be there for us, waiting with a drink and maybe even a towel to wipe ourselves off, because we're gonna get muddy, of course.
Well, now, which one is it, Donnie or Cindy, that whips your butt when you do something wrong? Which one's the disciplinarian?
Both.
We all hide when she gets mad.
Yeah, that's what I figured. She is not to be toyed with. I saw that immediately upon meeting her the first time. We wish we had her on the show with us, but maybe next time we can get her talking. Taylor, how did you get involved? You just, as young as you can remember, you were out doing this with your dad?
Yeah, it's been going on my whole life. I don't actually remember it starting or the first time, because it's always been something that we did. Always going out riding on dirt roads and going to creeks, fishing for minnows for his classroom. It's just always just been a part of life. It's like,
well,
never not doing it.
I hope you know, and y'all know that you already know this, but most people don't have this fortunate of an upbringing. And I just want you to know, from a guy who grew up in Southwest Atlanta, that you are really, really, really lucky to have been born down there with a dad like Donnie and a mom like Cindy, and that y'all, y'all are real impressive to me. And I guess you already know how lucky you are, but don't ever take it for granted, man, because most people in the world don't have the opportunities you have to be this in touch with nature. And then for you to go ahead and formalize that with your college degree and your education and teaching other people respect for it is doing a great deal for the future of our species, you know. So you're very fortunate, and I'm envious.
Well, we're envious of you too. I mean, we're not envious. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean to say. I just really appreciate it. And folks from around the world here are going, wow, that's some really cool stuff. And y'all see it every day and you're used to it. But this is so great for our viewers outside of, Georgia. They've never seen anything like this. There's Hyatt Duck. I know him. I'm going to let him in. By the way, our show got booted off live Facebook because of that moron that was on a minute ago. But we're gonna we'll have the recorded version up. So who else wants to ask Donnie or Chris or Taylor anything about what's going on down there? Natalie, I know you want to talk to him. Go ahead.
Hey, no, I'm watching the golf cart view. That is beautiful. That is, it's cat. We got cows. Maybe?
Horses, right? Yeah.
Horses.
Yeah, there's 3 horses right here. It's part of my uncle's property that he has. He has a lot of horses and a lot of pasture area. hopefully I'm gonna try to take y'all back up into the wooded area part right quick. You can actually see that area, more or less the pond, pasture, and then we have wooded area on this property as well. I'm gonna mute myself so the golf cart don't drown it out.
So there's more of you, Donnie? There's more screws running around? How many siblings do you have?
Well, there's just 4 screws right here. Just me, Cindy, and Chris and Taylor right here, because we do have an extended family around us here.
I got you.
Mostly Cindy right here. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, look at that. Boy, that is something else.
Dogs have a ball. Sometimes they get after the horses, and I have to reprimand them a little bit. They're just having fun. Yeah.
What sort of hawks do y'all get down in your yard?
What's that?
What sort of hawks or raptors do you see routinely?
Well, right there where Chris is, I saw a red-shouldered hawk land on the ground back there in the field. He obviously caught something, and we have the red tails all the time. And we had what I think is a Cooper's. I'm pretty sure it was a Cooper's that's killing the birds at my feeders right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a smaller hawk was there earlier too. I'm not sure what it was. It's probably a sharp shin or something. But the usual accipiters and buteos, and this time of the year we get all the kestrels and things, you know.
Really?
If I was a more advanced birder, I'd be able to pick out probably some other.
Well, you're just kind of skimming over those birds that none of us ever get a chance to see. Just so you know, just a few kestrels here and there, you know, some beauty tails, whatever. How about owls? I guess you got all kind of owls down there.
Well, mostly, yeah. We got some great horned owls and screech owls and mostly barred owls. Sometimes there's a ditch in the front yard that fills up with water, and it'll fill up with frogs breeding, and there will be barred owls all around it, just having a buffet, you know, right there. We had an entire family of screech owls that raised in our front yard, and they would all go to the bird bath. There were 5 baby screech owls in the bird bath.
Wow.
My goodness.
You know, that's what we have here.
I'm coming down there again.
This eye here, this is my bad eye. You can tell I had 2 retinal detachments a few years ago. So my vision is a little impaired. So I have trouble, you know, seeing some things. And so not quite as good as, what is that song? I ain't as good as I once was. You know?
Now, are you right-handed?
Yeah.
So that's the eye you would normally look through an eyepiece with that gave you some trouble?
You know, and they did restore my vision, but it is limited. Straight line, like those trees, when I look at the trees with my right eye, the trees will be curved. They'll be curved. And it's just part of the retinal detachment thing. You know?
Now, our donors sent you down a birding scope last year to give you a little better view of things. Do you use that with your left eye now, or do you try to use that with your right eye?
I use it with my right eye. I can see if I focus, I can see pretty well. But I'd use both eyes, but mostly my right eye. You know.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I hadn't really thought about, you know, maybe that was a handicap by sending you that scope with just the one eyepiece, but I guess you are fully recovered.
No, that scope is a godsend, and we appreciate it so much, man. We use it all the time. You saw the pictures of Chris and I using it.
I did.
So it's fine, you know.
Fantastic. I believe we got our good friend Steve Rushing just checked in. And Harry Hyduck is on, and Steve, you missed all the fun earlier. Yeah, Steve was probably watching on Facebook, and then once they booted this, because you know I get in trouble because of the live feed if there's something like that. We had a hacker on here putting up some nonsense.
No, I was taking care of a little bit of business around the house, so I'm sorry I'm late, guys.
No problem. Steve lives up here near me, Donnie, and Steve, we're looking at on one side of the screen, Donnie and his son Taylor. From down in Eastman, and on the other side, his son Chris is driving us through their property, showing us all the beauty down there. I think you ought to put up a boardwalk and start your own state park.
Yeah, there is a boardwalk. I was going to tell Chris, don't drive across it; you'll get a nail in the tire. You know.
I don't know if you can see it that well or not, but there is a boardwalk right down here. I'll actually come and walk across it real quick. Little creaky area.
Yeah, and folks, this is all stuff I had no idea existed until this Zoom meeting. I've only been to their front yard and backyard.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
I noticed, well, I'm very interested in trees, and I was just wondering whether you could tell me what type of trees you have. Because even though it's winter, it looks like you have quite a few trees with leaves still on. So are they all native trees, or are they like garden trees that you've planted?
All these are pretty much wild trees, and the usual swamp trees and what is it, the sweet gums and the maples and I'm not a tree person, so I don't really know the species, but the usual, if you look up trees of South Georgia, that's probably what it is. And a lot of them still have leaves because it doesn't get very, very, very cold down here. Most of them have lost their leaves. We do have some, conifers and things like that, the pine trees, but some of them still have their leaves, as you can see.
So you
And
have a
the
lot of hardwoods mixed in there as well. And do you get any red cockaded woodpeckers through there ever?
We haven't seen any here. Everybody south of us, down around Reedsville, Vidalia, Lyons, that area, that's where they have the red cockadeds. I need to get back down there and look at them. We do get the sapsuckers and all the other usual woodpeckers.
And you get the pileated woodpeckers, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Now, Donnie, Alexandria is also an avid gardener and has a beautiful yard and back, but they don't have a golf cart to drive around their yard.
No, I think you could probably walk around it in about 5 minutes.
Need to be asking her questions, man. I want to know about England,
It's very snowy at the moment.
We have 700 square feet total of yard here in Midtown Atlanta, and I can't take 5 long steps in my yard. That's how small it is. So our entire yard would fit basically on your front porch out to about 10 feet. But it's
Maybe
easy to
ours
mow.
is a bit bigger than yours then, Stephen.
Yes, it's very
Yeah,
small.
Donnie, I apologize for coming in late. Where exactly is your property located?
We're down in Dodge County, Eastman, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
And Dodge County is notorious, so don't hold it against us, If you know anything about Georgia, when they mentioned Dodge County, everybody, whoa. I played for a convention of judges one time, and they introduced me and said, Donnie is from Eastman, Dodge County. And the entire crowd of judges, every one of them, there was a wave that went through the whole crowd, and they all whipped around and looked at me. And some of them came up and talked to me later, but kind of a notorious, South Georgia, good old boy, that kind of thing. It's definitely, a Southern thing,
Donnie's quite a history buff and has a lot of posts that he puts up on Facebook about the history. And I also really like that whenever somebody passes or a big event happens down there with one of the people that are well known in your region, that you popularize that on Facebook. And I really enjoy reading about the history of Dodge County.
Yeah.
What do you think is the greatest thing Dodge County is known for? Moonshine?
Moonshine, dirty politics, and Stuckey's candy.
So Stuckey's is headquartered there? I didn't know that either.
Yeah, Bill Stuckey, who originated it. He's from Eastman, Georgia. When we were kids and going on vacation, you always had to stop at a Stuckey store and get a pecan log roll. Well,
Absolutely.
Eastman is the home. And there were a big group of politicians, all the Stuckeys, for a while.
His
The power.
Donnie, his daughter bought it back, and she's running. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
doing a good job.
Eastman was once known as the candy capital of the South.
Cool, man. I didn't know that either. What's next up for your band stuff, Donnie? You got a gig tonight somewhere?
No, we do next weekend down in Vidalia, and I'm trying not to book too much right now because of the pandemic. And
Right.
when you try not to book, people keep calling you, and I'm trying to put it off. And my partners in crime are trying to book, but I'm trying to put it off as much as I can. But we do have probably 5 or 6 bookings right now. We usually did about 80 to 90 bookings a year, and we stayed on the road all the time for 8 years. And this is really nice, to be able to stay home and do things with the family for a while.
Right.
But yeah, we've got some things lined up, a few festivals and gigs here and there, but I'm trying to socially distance and stay away from too much of that right now.
I got you. And,
I won't
and
stay
what
over.
what is the most requested song at a bar full of drunk Southerners?
But besides Freebird, right?
Yeah, we don't do free. We try to be. We're my band is like a combination of the B-52s and Fleetwood Mac, you know.
Yeah.
And we're a fun band, and we can play, and but that's my old band there. That's my original band, you know, Lee Jessup band from way back in the old days. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope you don't mind. I just had a few pictures I pulled up from the internet showing you behind the drum set. And
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for that, man. You know, there's folks that talk about it, and then there's folks that get up and do it. And I got a little history of playing live myself, and we won't get into that because I'll never shut up about it.
And
But,
you got a Rickenbacker bass too, and you play guitar. Man, you need to get out and get with it.
I love the drums, man. I love playing the drums. It's just something about it. And, you know, the drummers get all the girls in the long run. I already figured that one out.
Back everything.
And that's
Somebody told me the guitar players will run off with the girls while you're still packing up the drums. Yeah, that's my original band too.
yeah, and they were real popular here in the South for a long time. Did y'all ever play one of those Georgia jams?
No, we didn't. We did play some big places. We played Macon City Auditorium.
Right, I remember that.
We opened the show for some stars and things like that. We played the White House for Jimmy Carter when he was president. That was
Did you really?
Really? That is so cool.
I knew that. I saw that on one of your Facebook posts. Tell us all about that, Donnie.
Yeah, we went up. I've got the invitation on my wall and all that. Jimmy Carter, of course, is a Georgia connection, so that's how we got in there. And a lot of security. Even in what year was it? 1980. Yeah, August 1980. And going up there was a lot of security. It took us like 45 minutes to get into the White House. And we set up. They had a band shell and stage on the front lawn. We played with Doc and Merle Watson, Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys, and us. And it was a big barbecue on the front lawn of the White House. And we had a good time. Yeah. The real fun was the party afterward at the hotel, but we can't tell.
Yeah.
It's coming off the 70s. It was pretty wild, but yeah. It's a wonderful experience. It's something I was honored to do.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. You know, I joined the Navy because of Jimmy Carter. And he was one of my early heroes as a young man. And he was a commander he wasn't the captain of the boat, but he was on a nuclear sub in the U.S. Navy, which is why I went and did the same thing. I just thought he was a great person. Did you also go and smoke pot with Jimmy Carter's son afterwards? Like the
what? Smoke pot? No, I wouldn't say that I would have done it, but we had our own faction of people, and we went and played the hotel afterward. And,
I got you. Well, there was some revelation in the news from Waylon Jennings about doing some kind of extracurricular activity with people in the White House when he was up there. Or Willie Nelson. Yeah, I'm sorry, Willie Nelson.
I smoked one on the roof.
Yeah, I tell you, they don't get any better than Jimmy Carter. And a lot of people didn't know anything about that connection to country and rock and roll. And, you know, he just liked everybody, and he really appreciated music. And this book that just come out about him, I can't wait to get a copy of it to read about it, because just good people.
Yeah. Good friends with the Allman Brothers. They did a lot for him at first. You know. Yeah,
I understand. When we don't do any politics on here, this is just human interest. But you know, he got a lot of support when he was running from a lot of young people back then because of his connection to some of these bands. So it's a really interesting story that I'd like to hear more about with him. Steve Rushing, you're still with us?
Yeah.
What's going on up in your yard? I'm just going to give him a minute to talk to us about with birds, man. What's going on over there?
Just the same cast of characters we've been having. Nothing real special. I ran over to the preserve for a little while, and not a whole lot going on. So we're just kind of in that winter, good old usual characters hanging out.
Steve and I met at the nature preserve, Donnie, and he drives exactly the same vehicle that I drive. And his was also broken into up there. He was one of the victims of the break-in person. So that's a whole nother story. You can check my Facebook page for that. We have made some progress on it, but you know, people are going to do stupid things, and we're going to try to stop them. I guess Bonnie is with us, but she doesn't have her audio on, and that's all right. I'm glad that you were able to tune in, Miss Bonnie. And Chris, what are you out there doing now?
Chris.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I had to get back to the screen for the mute button to undo it. I'm just sitting back on the porch now, just watching 3 or 4 Carolina chickadees go crazy over the seeds.
Now, do you have to work this evening?
No, I'm actually off this weekend.
You're
I'll
off
go
this
back into
weekend?
work Monday morning.
And Chris also recently got married around same year as his brother, and I was fortunate enough to go down and attend their wedding, which was at a park down there. The public fishing area is what they call it, but it's basically a park with a big lake, and that was a beautiful ceremony. I really liked it because there was birds flying around overhead, and it was just friendly folks, and we had a real good time down there. How long have you been married now, Chris?
Shoot, 2 years, I think. 2 going on 3.
Yeah. So have you already learned the phrase, "You're right, baby, I'm sorry"?
Yeah, that's always the catch-all. You're right,
Yeah.
I'm wrong, sorry.
You're right, baby. And Taylor, are you familiar with that? I know Donnie is. Whatever it takes, right? Hey, Donnie, I wanted to tell you we're coming up to the wrap here. Was there anything that you wanted to tell everybody about Eastman, Georgia, or about Donnie Screws and his family when we got a few minutes left?
I think we covered it all. I just appreciate this little bit of attention you're giving us. Like I said, we're just a small town family that likes birds, and we watch what y'all do, all you guys. We watch what y'all do on Sunlit Earth every week, and we're amazed by y'all and learn so much from you, and we appreciate it. We appreciate this ability to connect this way.
Well, I'm grateful for y'all taking the time, and I wanted to apologize again for everyone, for the hackers on our show. Next week, we have a pretty good lineup, but I'm going to just not admit anybody I don't know. And I hate to do that because, we like to have an open program where anybody can come on and ask anything. But, the internet is the internet, and that's the way it is. Natalie, do you have any chores that I need to do real quick?
No, we're good.
The honey-do list is good. Okay.
Hey, Donnie, can I ask you a question? Which public fishing area did y'all use for the wedding?
That was the Dodge County public fishing area.
Okay.
There's another one up near Cochran, Blake. I think, is it Blakely County? I'm not sure, but there's a couple of public fishing areas. But
It's called
Go ahead.
it's
Chris.
actually called a Mulgi PFA.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
that's what and the reason I brought it up, when this is recorded and people go back through it, I would tell everyone, if you get a chance, buy a hunting and fishing sportsman license, because that brings excise tax money to Georgia for wildlife management and public fishing areas. So we can always use that money, and they are fabulous.
All-inclusive. What is it? The big license that includes everything.
Yeah, it's
I mean-
sportsman or something like that.
Yeah, it included everything because I wanted to pay the maximum to support y'all. Do you work with the DNR?
I do a few things with them, photography wise, but this has just been something, and I'll be a little politically incorrect. Birders a lot of times go to the wildlife management area, and they used to have a special thing that you could do, but in order to pay for our use of it, you need to buy a hunting license now. So all the birders who are listening in, one, we have fabulous wildlife management areas
Right.
that are some of the best birding in the state. Buy the license, and then Georgia benefits from that by having the excise money that the hunters and fishermen pay, and comes back to Georgia based on the licenses that are sold. So it's a great way to bring money.
I don't hunt and I rarely fish, but I bought the whole license to support
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's a great way to, that and duck stamps are probably two of the best ways to get really good money back into the state of Georgia.
Mhm. Awesome.
Raphael, I'm sorry.
Who's that visiting?
Who is that young person there visiting your screen, Raphael?
Hi, this is Sebastian, my 8-year-old son.
Hold on.
He's I need to show you something. He is also birding. This is one of his picture he took this
That
week.
is fantastic.
A hummingbird.
Yeah,
Hello.
this is a Burbank hummingbird.
And Donnie, we sent down a Canon camera and a lens down there to Raphael, and he has really gotten great on it, man.
Awesome.
If you decide to go down there, we'll hook you up with a visit with the colognes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, because that is really a fantastic birding spot. And it's also a beautiful history spot down where he lives in Santo Domingo. And we have a big presence down there. And Donnie, if you decide you want to go to Kosovo, we have a big presence there. Perhaps Tunisia, North Africa, maybe England. You just let me know where you go and we'll hook you up with some locals because that makes the trip a whole lot better. We are at the end of our hour. And again, I guess some people missed out on the live view on Facebook, but I'm going to download this and edit out some portions of it, let's just say. And I will have the finished video on the Sunlit Earth page shortly. And I hope that you'll share it with your friends. And Donnie, thank you so much for getting on here. And Chris and Taylor and Mrs. Screws, thank you for allowing them to do it. And all of our guests, I'm very grateful to everybody, including my wife. I hope you come on next time. And we will see everyone next week on This Week in Birding and Nature Photography on Sunlit Earth. So adios, y'all. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
All right.